Just a little housekeeping. We will be taking questions on the app. As the session goes on, if you have any questions, and then we'll be going through those as the session goes on, but also have a decent time at the end to answer any questions you might have. I'm Matthew Schutt. I'm a manager of product management at Appian, and with me is Miguel, who is a product manager at Appian as well. And today we're going to talk about scaling automation with Modern RPA. So let's start by thinking about our automation journeys. Building those automation journeys on early RPA bots often felt like navigating with one of these, a static paper map. I, for one, learned to drive with a paper map, not with MapQuest or Google Maps or anything. So I've gotten lost once or twice, and the static paper map, you really have to meticulously plot out everywhere you want to go. And from an RPA side, that's every click, every turn, based on the landscape you understand at that moment. The problem with paper maps is there may be changes. So relating that to RPA, think of digital changes as road closures or any other change. Maybe there's traffic. Those rigid bots will break, and there will be manual fixes that are needed. So the issue here is an isolated map. There's no real-time context from core systems or insights even from something like AI. It's navigating blind to the surrounding context and relying on fragmented, maybe out-of-sync information. The consequences here, your automations can be brittle. You can encounter governance issues, rack up some tech debt. It makes it really hard to scale this type of automation. Now imagine navigating with this instead, integrated intelligent GPS. The critical information you need, routes, hazards, performance, seamlessly overlaid in context. And this is the reality of unified automation on the Appian platform. So you can think of it as an intelligent GPS for your business processes. So you can think of AI as intelligence, RPA providing actions, data fabric overlays providing information to you, and process models helping map out the full journey. The result here is smarter, adaptive automation, and that's where Modern RPA thrives and enables scale. At the end of the day, this enables you, the developers, to build on one platform and focus on innovation. So today, we're going to talk about how we can leave this paper map behind and use GPS to scale with Appian. So first, why unified automation and why strategic Modern RPA is unified automation. Then Miguel will talk about building for scale and resilience, how we do that. And finally, some customer impacts of proof that this approach really works. So a key concept that we'll come back to, and you've seen this in the main stage today, is unified automation. And the key concept here for you is Modern RPA requires this unified automation. And Appian is that complete automation platform that allows you to design powerful applications, automate activities, and optimize the end-to-end. So when you start to dig a little bit deeper, you can see there are many tools and capabilities that Appian will provide you. And with other vendors, you can see separate tools, conflicting maps maybe, errors, blind spots. Appian is that integrated navigation system for process, data, AI, RPA. The benefit here is cohesive real-time information for these complex journeys. There's a lot of power and capability loaded in the platform, as you can see with all the various items on the slide. All these capabilities are not only unified, but well integrated and supported by a strong data fabric, giving you everything you need for your digital transformation. The key is picking the right tool for the task. So for an example, a process that's going to drive a unified automation, we can see in this workflow, there's some human tasks. User is entering a new order, but then it might go to AI to help authorize the account. RPA is going to set up the account in a legacy application. All of these within a single workflow. And we see integrations here for Salesforce, rules for updating shipping information, even email sending information to users. So the power here is that seamless orchestration and integration. Now let's dig into each individual automation capability and when they are the right tool for the task. So the first one, let's talk about artificial intelligence, or AI. So I see AI as the best tool for multiple different scenarios, but I can boil them down into 4 basic areas. So collecting, this is preparing or gathering information. We've heard a lot today about AI Document Center, extracting information from documents, classifying, as well as processing different types of information. But what sometimes is overlooked a little bit is making a decision, making processes smarter. Often you can make a decision based on a rule. If it is class A, go here. If it's class B, go here. But the world is a little messy, and sometimes you aren't able to define every single decision point. And this is where AI can really thrive in some of this messy gray area to help make decisions, or even suggest decisions. Automating, this can be RPA, this can be various items, but basically AI is able to help these tools take direct action. So document processing is a great example for automation as well, and automating various tasks that humans used to do. And finally, analyze and inform. This is, if you have used ChatGPT before, you can think of asking for a summary, generating new content, understanding and reporting on information. So the next tool I want to talk about is integrations. Appian integrations are leveraging APIs. So you can think of APIs, using the map comparison, is a modern highway. It's the preferred route when it's available. With Appian, we have seamless integration with connectors, standards, app market, if you have REST APIs, open API standards, or even specific connectors to systems like Salesforce, SharePoint, DocuSign. There are hundreds of connected system plugins available on our app market as well that make it really easy to integrate with these systems. Sometimes there aren't any modern RPA, APIs available to you. There's an old legacy application, a desktop application, or even information maybe on a website that you need to update as part of your process. So RPA is the tool of choice when you navigate the old roads, right? You're going back the old state road. This is your legacy apps and your websites. So the use case here is, again, the integration of last resort. It can really bridge those gaps and help with repetitive and rule-based tasks. So the advantage here, again, is these robots do these repetitive tasks for you. You can free up employees to focus on more value-add tasks. These robots can run 24 hours a day, avoid human errors, and handle huge amounts of volumes of tasks. It's a cost-effective way to fill automation gaps in your business. So coming back to this same graphic again, we can think about how combining all these tools and orchestrating them in a process can be very powerful. So again, for example, AI, we're using that intelligence to analyze documents. We've got RPA here, setting up the account, entering data into that legacy system, and integration where it's needed for sending data to those third-party systems. So that seamless mix and match, adding these capabilities in a workflow, it unlocks automation's true potential when you can leverage all these capabilities together. So that seamless integration is very key. But next, I want you to understand how we can build for resilience. And I'm going to hand off to Miguel to cover that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Matthew. Okay. We already have seen what tools we have to build these applications, also why unification matters, right? But how can we build applications that are scalable and resilient? Because no one wants their RPA bots to fail if something changes, right? So let's see some best practices to address this. First of all, this is important. Think about orchestration, not just automation. And always orchestrate with process models. Think about your process model as your main route planner, the brain that manages the overall operation. Process model will manage the logic of the operation, will manage the data flow, but also will manage the handoff between different technologies. For instance, AI, RPA, integrations, and humans. Also, keeping your RPA focused on specific processes is not just a best practice. It's crucial to keep your applications resilient and flexible and future-proofed. Imagine that building RPA as modular components is as having a specific segment of the road. If you have to change that specific segment of the road in the future, You just change it without impacting the overall road, the overall automation. If down the road you get an API in the future for something your RPA bot is doing today, no problem at all. You just swap up that specific RPA node for an integration node, and that's all. Your application is future-proofed. Following with this example, don't be shy with sub-processes, okay? Sub-processes are just bare friends to transform complex processes into smaller chunks. Also, if you work with sub-processes, you will have a clean overview of the overall automation. Also, sub-processes will help you maintain the operation. Here is a real example of a customer from the retail sector. This customer in particular wanted to keep the overall logic in the process model for decisioning and queuing logic, but they needed to automate their core banking system. So they used Appian RPA to automate the process with the core banking system. They went to the bank system, grabbed some data, and put that data back into the process model. The process model then interpret the data and prioritize the consequence task accordingly to the data that were passed from the bank and RPA. This is an effective way to get value from RPA today while you keep your automations and your applications flexible for the future. Moving to our next piece of advice, some of you may think this is obvious, okay? But it leverages Appian low-code capabilities, actually. Appian RPA is also low-code. So this means that building with Appian RPA is seamless to build, test, and deploy Appian RPA applications. Building with Appian RPA is similar to build Appian interfaces, for instance. Here in the left side of the screen, you can see the Appian RPA Designer. In the Appian RPA Designer, you will find different actions already for you to automate Windows, browser, Excel, for example. So for starting your Appian RPA route, to start automating with Appian RPA, you just need to select the actions you need and then drag and drop into the configuration area. What's happened if you don't know how to start? This is so common with the RPA automation. You know what you want, but you don't know how to do it with RPA, right? So you have available the task recorder. The task recorder is a really powerful tool that will you start automating with Appian RPA. You just need to interact with the screen as you move forward with the use case, clicking on the screen, and the task recorder will translate these interactions into specific low-code actions. Once you have finished, you saved these actions, and the task recorder will drop all these actions into the Appian RPA Designer, and these actions are ready to be executed. Obviously, you can tune the details, but if you want, it's ready to be executed. The next piece of advice is something that, in my opinion, is every automation developer is worried about. Let's see how can we leverage Appian's unified capabilities for exception handling. You will not need any specific team. You will not need any more, actually, any specific team to track and manage exceptions 24/7. You can use user tasks and also AI skills to manage this exception across the operations. For instance, imagine a really simple use case that you have to go to a corporate website to double check some employee names. Suddenly, this process arises an exception because the name you are expecting is not found. No problem at all. You can configure a user task to be sent to a human and check the right name. But you can improve this process with AI skills. AI skills can make a quick semantical search between the all names, so you can include in the user task potential best fits for these names. So you're sending the same user task for the human, but this human will have a specific set of names to select. So you are speeding up the user task of the human. So in this case, humans are not just in the loop. Humans have fully control of the process, even when the AI is in the process. Well, we have talked already about how easy and fast it is to build Appian RPA, okay? But once everything is done, it's time to deploy. And here is when it becomes even better. You know already that everything is behind the same platform, and this means that the SecOps process is streamlined. You can reuse in Appian RPA different Appian objects. For example, constants, expression rules, and this kind of objects. So you don't need to duplicate this effort in Appian RPA. If you have this done already in Appian, in your Appian applications, you have this option to be used in Appian RPA. So you are saving time and reducing the potential errors in Appian RPA. So to deploy Appian RPA is similar, is the same process as deploying Appian applications. You can use the same familiar process you are already using with your Appian applications. What this means, you can leverage your current skills, the skills your team already have to deploy Appian applications. You just need to include your Appian robotic task in the same deploying package. So once your lovely RPA bots are out there, you need to keep an eye on them, right? So we have the Appian RPA operation console that will help you track and manage all of the RPA operations. In the operation console, you will find really useful information, such as, for example, the robot's health. This means the agent's statuses. Also, you can double check in which specific process is every single agent working. This means every single agent is working a specific robotic task, so you can double check and confirm those agents are working in those robotic tasks you want them to be working on. And then also you can manage your robot pools. But what's happened if suddenly the priority of the processes change? This happened, right? This is not new for you. So you don't need to go to the configuration area and reconfigure everything. You can go to the operation console at runtime and reroute your agents to the more priority processes. Well, so we have already talked about AI along this session, and AI can help in automating operations, right? But when we talk about AI, we need to talk about trust. Trust is crucial. I think we all agree that AI is really powerful, but also it's not magic. And AI needs or requires a careful navigation. Appian can help navigating AI with trustworthiness and enterprise-grade governance. Appian's governance features can help you manage AI by ensuring compliance, but also setting up the rules. In my opinion, setting up the rules is the key thing here. So imagine you have a process where AI have to make critical decisions. You just need to configure your site for keeping the person in the driver's seat. It's all about using AI with effectiveness, but also with responsibility. So here, theory and best practice is good, but let's see how this unified platform performs in the real world. And also we will see which challenges some customers that are currently working with separate silos are facing today. First thing, we are seeing a clear trend here. Organizations are moving from separate silos to unified automation. This is only a number, 80%. Keep that in mind. 80% of new Appian RPA customers in 2024 that switched from other RPA vendors, they highlighted that unified automation for a key factor for their success. And we're going to see now a real example. This is a real example, okay? Imagine a large healthcare organization provider here in the US. They were facing a real complex and stressful situation driven by the Not Surprise Act. This is a public service that aims to protect the patients from not getting unexpected medical bills. So the headache of this company was specifically in the process of insurance reimbursement process. The root cause of all of this mess of this company was basically a mashup between endless Excel spreadsheets, third-party RPA provider in this case, that was using RPA by silos or in silos, and also a really challenging process regarding their email. So the result of this, they were missing deadlines, and as a result, they were losing tons of millions in dollars due to this inefficient manual work. Obviously, they needed a better way. So they implemented an end-to-end Appian process, and they use different tools, okay? They use AI skills for smart email processing. They use Appian RPA for specific pieces of the process, of the submission process. And also they used data fabric and also business process model to keep the overall orchestration, the data flow, different technologies, and also for exception handling. The result of this case showcased the power of the unified platform. They saved hundreds of thousands of working hours by eliminating all the manual work related to spreadsheets and email management. Also, they are starting to achieve their deadlines, so they are starting getting back those tons of millions of dollars of revenue. This is not only a one-shot success story. They have plans to grow with Appian, and the truth is, like, their application is already future-proofed. This is a good example as how a unified platform can deal with situations that separate silos can simply not do it. We have other examples. For instance, we have a global manufacturer that migrate everything from blueprints to Appian and Appian RPA because they were pursuing a better integration with their Appian automation as a whole. But also we have another Appian utility that they had 3 different RPA providers at that time. It was UiPath, Blueprints, and NICE. So they moved everything to Appian and Appian RPA, both for having a better integration between enterprise grade and also for cost savings, obviously. So let me make a quick recap of the main 2 messages I want you to keep today. The first one is go beyond those paper maps that Matthew shared with us. This means modern RPA is unified automation. Modern RPA is not anymore those silos of RPA tasks. Modern RPA need to be integrated with the enterprise-grade automation. This is the first message. The second message is AI and RPA are stronger together. This is really, really important. RPA will give you control, and AI will give you flexibility. So let's use them. Let's use them together for a smart automation. And last but not least, we have covered today a lot of ground. We have talked about really good capabilities of Appian, the unified platform, but the journey continues. Automation is always evolving, right? So let's see what's next for Appian RPA. This is the concept of traditional RPA that I think we all have in mind. Traditional RPA is like you need to be precise. You need to be a specific configuration. You need to know all the steps in the configuration. So I need you to do exactly this. But let's think about how can it could be the next evolution of RPA. This could be something like this, something like agentic AI RPA, agentic AI boost RPA. This agentic AI RPA could be more flexible, could be more resilient, and could be focused on the goal and not focused on the task. This agentic AI RPA eventually could be able to understand natural language prompts and be able to autonomously address the overall use case for you. Let's see a quick video of how this agentic RPA could look like. Here in this video, you will see a set of different actions needed today for address use case in SAP. Eventually, if we use this agentic AI RPA, this could be reduced to a single agentic action that following this prompt is able to autonomously address the whole use case for you. If something happened unexpected, it's also able to address the use case. So taking into account this, we see different areas of benefits for this potential agentic AI boost RPA. The first one is simplifying the development. This is really important. Why? Because you don't need anymore to know all of the single steps of the configuration. You just need to understand your goal, actually. So you don't need to understand which is the ID which is the specific route that the action have to follow. You just need to understand which is your goal, which is your business goal with that use case. So this would simplify and speed up the RPA development. Also, not for all cases, but this will help not needing for every configuration to have skilled developers. Maybe someone with not that deep skills could be easy to manage difficult situation with this agentic AI action because it doesn't require to be highly skilled. The second area of benefits from our perspective is self-healing. As this action is AI boost and is focused on the goal and not focused on the task, the different tasks in the execution are not that important that are today. They are less important. So if something happens, like a pop-up appears or a GUI changes, for example, those use cases where you have to go to a website and get some data or make login in a third-party website that you don't control, and those websites change, this action is able to self-healing itself and address the use case for you. And the third area of benefits that we see is that this action could be based on a smart screen understanding. So anything on the screen could be automated. This means mainframe, this means browser, legacy Windows applications, and those applications that you need to access via CTEX. Good news, we have been already working on this. I think you all are aware already. We have been talking about this for the last 2 days, but this is a reality in Appian RPA today. We have been working on this. So Appian RPA have already an agentic AI boost low-code action. This is already on beta, but this action is able to understand natural language orders and self-heal itself. This is a real video where we just used agentic action to address the whole use case. In this case, the use case is opening a Windows application. This is a purchase order application. So we asked the agentic action, okay, you need to find this application in the desktop, open it, delete any data if there is any data, introduce new data with data we paste in variables, and then calculate the total amount of the purchases. And we succeeded. We didn't say nothing about the IDs of the fields. We didn't say nothing about the coordinates of the buttons to be clicked. We didn't say even nothing about the location of the application. We just write different prompts for the agentic action to understand what to do. So the action was able to understand our goal and execute successfully the use case for us. So for those of you interested in the beta program, for those of you interested in upgrading the RPA to the next evolution, please let us know your interest in the beta program through this QR code. And now we are going to be really happy to address all your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for who've added questions already. We have a few approved here. Please feel free to go ahead and add them as we're going through some of these questions. We have plenty of time to go through multiple questions. So first one I have is the agentic AI RPA. I've seen different types of technologies from other vendors. Sometimes they call it operators. How is agentic RPA different than these operators from something like Claude or OpenAI?
It's a really good question. The main differentiator is that our agentic AI RPA is embedded in Appian RPA. That means this is embedded in the enterprise-grade orchestration platform, and this is key. Our agentic AI RPA is in Appian RPA, and we are focused on corporate use cases. Other agentic stuff that they are really cool, they are focused on the end user, domestic use cases, I would say. But this is focused on enterprise-grade use cases, and this agentic AI action leverage the overall Appian orchestration. I would say this is the main difference.
Yeah, I think the other difference is thinking about expanding beyond browser automation, right? So a lot of those vendors, they say, oh, it's going to use its own browser, but they're leaving out a whole large swath of applications that you need to integrate with, right? So we're talking, and you had it on your other slide, desktop automation,
correct,
SAP, any real
mainframe
application that you're going to have on your computer. So When you see those things, that's absolutely similar technology to what we're leveraging here, but we can extend it beyond.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Can Appian RPA interact across multiple applications or browsers in one task?
Yeah. It's a configuration thing. You can configure your robotic task to interact with different browsers and applications in the same flow, in the same robotic task. So yeah, this is not a problem for Appian RPA. You can use actually in the same robotic task Windows applications and a browser application. So it's just a matter of the priority where you want the agent to execute. But yeah, it's totally possible.
Okay, great. How many robots can I have available?
What do you mean? What you want? Yeah, no limit for agents. No limits. There are different licenses, obviously, that Appian provide you, but the systems can afford endless agents. So we have really, really extremely heavy users. So yeah, till today, we have not seen any limits in the number of agents we can afford.
I'm going to paraphrase this one a little bit, but some of the customer stories you told were migrating from existing RPA vendors to Appian. What are the migration tools available to us to help transition from existing RPA systems to Appian RPA systems, and kind of what are some of the best practices maybe to think about?
The first thing, this is really common. Many customers, they are evaluating migrations. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not, but they evaluate this option. The first thing is understand Appian's approach. Appian, we shouldn't make a 1-1 comparison. If we make a 1-1 comparison, we are losing the Appian strength. So the first thing to talk with those customers is like, we are Appian, we are not Appian RPA. I mean, I'm the product manager for RPA, but I'm Appian in that conversation. I'm not Appian RPA. We are not selling Appian RPA. We are Appian platform. So this is the first thing. This is key for understanding that if they want to switch from other RPA vendor, they are not changing from, for instance, UiPath to Appian RPA. They are switching from UiPath to Appian. And then the conversation changed totally. This is the main thing.
Yeah. So all the different tools available versus just thinking everything is a bot, right?
Yeah.
Is translating, well, process might be the better answer, rules might be the better answer. Exactly. Use RPA for those automating those enterprise applications. Great. Would you say Appian RPA could be a point of entrance for a client into Appian? Meaning if they haven't been onboarded, could use case of RPA have enough positive ROI for customers to come to the Appian platform? Does it depend on maybe the cost of the current bots? What are we seeing for when you have that 80% number with RPA, but overall, driving customers to the Appian platform?
I think it's totally worth, because when you are paying for an Appian license, you are paying for the overall orchestration platform. You are not paying just for Appian RPA. So as I said before, you are not switching for Appian RPA. You're switching for Appian as a platform. In that point is when it become worth the change. Yeah. Maybe if you just want to change for Appian RPA itself, maybe at that point doesn't make sense. But when you understand that if you change, you will have at your disposal all the Appian orchestrations and all the tools you said, then it becomes worth the change. Yeah.
At the same time, I'd say that we have seen some customers, and while they are using the overall platform, they are seeing quite significant savings over other RPA vendors when they want to switch. When you start to scale these RPA practices, how many bots you have, it really starts to become a major driver. But sometimes that's a more mature customer that understands our functionality, understands their own priorities, versus introducing Appian for the first time. That head-to-head might be a difficult, just comparing one-to-one. So I'd say we certainly do see large ROI, but it's a mature.
Yeah, I could say that we are seeing a lot of different cost savings when people, customers move from other vendors. It's just not a license cost savings. This is the most direct result, but they are getting cost savings in terms of efficiency. So as we said, if they are addressing everything with bots, and then they switch to Appian and they're starting addressing the same automation needs with different tools, with AI in the process, with Appian RPA focused on specific processes and different tools in Appian. They are getting, or they start getting cost savings in terms of the process itself, efficient cost savings. So yeah, this is
Great.
a common thing.
Yeah. Thank you, Miguel. Thank you for answering all the questions. I didn't have to answer too many. I think that's all the questions we have on the app. And thank you so much for attending the session and for your attention. We appreciate it.
Thank you.